So why did the Venom movie go out of its way to not mention Spider-Man and many other characters that already exist in the Spider-Man universe and that Sony could use on their own because they own them? We're gonna get to that and what I was told. So if you look at Venom, there's a few little mentions and Easter eggs of what's happening over in the bigger Marvel universe that they want to address, but largely they're really divorced from anything, even Spider-Man related, and this was done by choice. Now, the idea to set Venom in San Francisco was deliberate, and this was to take it away from any possible confusion it could cause with Spider-Man. Now, you guys know that Venom was a through-and-through Sony movie. Marvel Studios had no hand in it, and this was one of the films that was in production during this weird period of time where Sony was still trying to figure out what they were going to do. There was no idea if Venom was going to be a success. There was a sort of tug of war that we've learned happened with Spider-Man that was happening behind the scenes. Sony wanted to include Spider-Man in Venom, but then there was a tug of war with those contracts and what was allowed. So there was just all sorts of things happening behind the scenes. One of the actual primary reasons they decided to take the movie out of New York and into San Francisco, because the original film started off as a film set in New York, directly connecting a few storyline elements to Spider-Man, was because Sony wanted to deliberately take it away from New York and set it apart from Spider-Man, in the hopes of working out a deal with Marvel Studios or regaining Spider-Man and being able to say that this film took place in the continuity the entire time. And I was openly told by somebody I talked to that one of the fallbacks was possibly having Venom allude to small things happening from The Amazing Spider-Man, and if they can make it happen, that this would be the Venom that down the road would connect to that universe. So in essence, Sony decided to play strategically with Venom by having it not really connect to many things and try to divorce it from Spider-Man as much as they could. It opened them up to the freedom of being able to later on in the future say that this film happened on the side of whatever version they wanted to focus on. Whether that was going to be a rebooted version of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, a multiverse version as part of the Amazing Spider-Man universe, or something else completely different, this ensured that they would be allowed that type of leeway. And honestly, this was probably the best idea and choice, because whatever ends up happening in the third Spider-Man film and then the multiverse and the future of Sony's whole Venomverse crossing over with Tom Holland's Spider-Man and everything, and the Amazing Spider-Man and the Raimi-verse, this can ultimately only stand to improve everything, because had they said, yeah, this movie takes place in the MCU, well then you're already connected to that mythology, and that film outright just contradicts MCU events, so it wouldn't really fit. But now they sort of have a way that they can do whatever they want and really play with their own continuity and where to place it. And let's be real, if things don't match up, it's Sony. Things didn't match up between their own sequels.